awards luncheon. I never made it. I was elsewhere, as usual,
The awards luncheon?
for the SBA.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes, it was good to see familiar faces and some new ones too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it went really well.
Yeah, that would have been nice to have gotten to. I went last year, but I didn't get there this year.
Oh, no, you're a
There's always
busy lady.
There's always something. I try my best, but
Yeah.
not always easy.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. But I'm glad that you're here today out of your busy schedule. Really
Well,
appreciate
thank
that.
you. I really wanted to do this.
Oh, good.
I've been looking forward to it.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kathleen Taylor with the Nevada Women's Business Center. Thank you so much for tuning in into this live stream webinar, and we're talking about the publishing industry today. And it's my pleasure to have a fantastic guest here today, Miss Barbara Oliver. And she is just a dynamo in the publishing industry in addition to other things. And I'd like to share some of her background before we start with the discussion. And Barbara Oliver is the president of Minority and Women-Owned Enterprise Publishing, Inc., a media services company that serves the supplier diversity communities in the U.S. and Canada, whose mission is to inform, educate, and inspire. She is also publisher of Minority Business Enterprise MBE magazine, an award-winning 30-year-old national trade publication for and about minority and women business owners. This is fabulous. Also, in addition to her full-time responsibilities as an entrepreneur, Barbara is an active supporter of the Western Regional Minority Supplier Development Council, WRMSDC, also serves on various committees of the Women's Business Enterprise Council West and the Women's Business Enterprise National Council, and is a strategic partner of the Top Flight Foundation, Inc. Also, she joined MBE magazine in 1989 after earning her degree from Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles, and she formed Enterprise Publishing, Inc. in 2011. So it's such a pleasure to have you here today. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yes, so this sounds so fascinating because I would say throughout the course of our lives, we are exposed to the magazine industry or publishing industry in one way or another, whether it's through school. Hey, someone has to publish those textbooks that we learn algebra from. When we go to the grocery store, we may see a sports magazine, a cooking magazine, or even a gossip magazine. So
maybe more of those than the others.
This is true. But it's quite rare that we actually see the inner workings behind that magazine, so to speak. We usually see like the final product,
yes,
for the consumer. So this is why it's such a treat for me to have you on today, and just to kind of like share with our audience what motivated you to be an entrepreneur, and specifically in the publishing industry. What was your journey like?
Well, MBE magazine was formed back in 1984 by Ginger Conrad.
Wow.
And I came to work with her in 1989 after I graduated from college, about a year out. I was still looking for something.
Wow.
I had an idea of what I wanted to do. I did want to go into publishing, but more on the side of editing. I didn't want to write. I was very interested in copywriting.
Okay.
So I tried that, didn't work out, so I had to find a job, so I did. And about a year later, my dad was working next to Ginger in an office building, and she was frantically looking for someone to help her.
Wow.
And he asked me if I was interested, because he knew I was an English major. And I said, well, as long as I don't have to write. And so I met her, and it was history from there. So I had been with the magazine all the way up until she decided to retire back in
Wow.
2010.
That's amazing.
Was it 10 or 11? Somewhere in there. It's 2011, I think. And in doing so, you know, the decision was made, well, you know, I'm probably going to fold it. She didn't really know whether or not she even wanted to keep the magazine going. And I stepped up and I said, I think I can do this.
Wow.
We've been together long enough. I think I can do this.
Yes.
I think we are still very much needed, and what it is that we do is very important to our constituency. And she said, well, if you can do it, let's go. So that's where I formed Enterprise Publishing.
Wow.
And purchased MBE magazine along with my partner, who also worked with me in the magazine.
Excellent.
So that's kind of how I got here.
Yes. That's amazing how you just kind of, you know, when we advise clients that want to start a business, we advise them that, okay, you have this business idea, this business model. Have you done any industry research? Do you have any experience in that industry?
Mm-hmm.
And here you are having experience in the industry, and you know, through a process and an opportunity, you basically took ownership of it, so to speak, and then just kind of like expanded it, you know, into your own vision, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak. And this is the magazine, you know, the current issue, and it's fantastic. So if you have an opportunity, then please subscribe to the magazine. Also, there's more to you than just MBE.
Mm-hmm.
So could you explain a little bit more about other things that you're involved with?
So of course we started with MBE magazine,
Uh-huh.
and we expanded our social media presence.
Mm-hmm.
From there, we have a Facebook page, group page. We have a LinkedIn group.
Oh, wow.
We also have a very active Twitter site, and we have Google Plus. We're on Google Plus. We're on Instagram. That's not as active. We're getting there with Instagram. I am still of that age where it's like, okay, I'd rather enjoy it than take the pictures.
I understand.
But we also have a really extensive Pinterest board that you can see all the covers of the magazine
Oh,
on that
wow.
board.
That's neat.
So I'm real proud of that, because that's one way for you to see the evolution of the magazine from when Ginger started all the way to where we are. And you'll see different looks at the front page of the magazine and the front cover, of the magazine. So it's been an evolution for the magazine itself.
Right.
But given the world that we live in today and the rise of social media, it makes it difficult in the publishing industry to do the print side of things.
I understand.
So we've also expanded, and we have a digital edition of the magazine.
Oh, great.
And we do, as I said, a lot of social media around that and around the industry of supplier diversity and diversity and inclusion. We also have instituted 2 new programmings. One is WBE's Who Rock, and WBE, for those who don't know, is Women Business Enterprise.
Yes.
So WBE's Who Rock is a recognition program where we recognize women businesses who are just doing good things. They don't have to be super successful. They don't have to be, they just have to be doing good things with their business and good things with their communities.
Wonderful.
And so that's how we recognize them. We produce a program. We do as you can see from here, we've selected 3 WBEs
Yes.
that we usually do on the spring issue cover. And then in addition to that, we select about 10 others, which is usually a secret. We don't tell. So they have to come to the Women's Business Enterprise National Council Conference, which is going to be here in Las Vegas, the June 20th to the 22nd. And where we do a WBE's Who Rock reception,
Wonderful.
and we present them with a plaque and a pin
That's fantastic. And
as a WBE's Who Rock.
yeah, and if someone wanted to attend that reception,
Absolutely.
would you like to
You can go to our website, www.mbemag.com. There is a link there for you to click on and register to attend. It's just an RSVP. We don't charge you. You can get in, and we don't turn you away if you want to come and see who's being recognized. It's we have quite a following.
I can
from
imagine.
that. We've been doing it since 2014.
Oh, excellent.
And in 2015, we added MBEs Who Rock, which is Minority Business Entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And we present that same programming at the National Minority Supplier Development Council's National Conference. This year it'll be in Detroit in October.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
In reference to the support that you give to women minority business owners or minority business owners, you know, through recognition, and also emphasizing that a person doesn't necessarily have to be a Fortune 500 company or, you know, a heavy hitter, so to speak.
Right.
Just doing good quality work in business,
you know,
in the community.
There's always, the reason why we started this is because, you know, there are always those minority or women business owners that are always out there and they're putting themselves out, and you see them everywhere. You know, they're moderating, they're doing this, they're sponsoring, and sometimes the smaller business owners don't get that recognition for the hard work that they put into.
I agree.
I mean, they don't have the monies to do the big sponsorships and things like that, but this is a way to recognize them, and that was our intent with the programming. So, yeah.
And you know, you spoke about the evolution of the magazine. Could you share a little bit about your evolution as an entrepreneur during that process, your growth and development too?
Well, I guess I have to give a lot of props to Ginger, because I started out as her secretary.
Wow.
And then kind of gradually moved into helping her from the sales side.
Yes.
So she'd make calls and I'd do the follow-up, and eventually I was doing the closing, and eventually I was developing my own clients.
Excellent.
So I moved from secretary to assistant to sales, you know, manager, to assistant publisher, which included still the sales part of things. And I did a bit more of the marketing, a bit more of the PR. And as we grew, this is how I came to learn. And she was instrumental in allowing me to learn, the ins and outs and the doings. There's still portions of publishing I still have issues with, but
that's part of the process.
But I'm never gonna. I don't think I will know everything there is to know.
Sure.
I only will know what I need to know for making sure that I'm providing the product that our readers and our constituents are looking to have to experience.
And you bring up a really good point about only knowing what you need to know within your role, so to speak. So if someone is going into the publishing industry, could you give them some tips as to what your role could or should be based upon your experience and others' roles too, and allowing them to evolve?
Well, if you're in the publishing industry, it all depends on what role you play already. If you're interested in the marketing and the sales side of things, that's a big part of publishing.
Yes.
And in terms of finding where the niche is that if you're going to be doing a publication, or if you're going to be doing books or anything like that, it's kind of up to you how involved you want to be in the process. There's a lot of people who knows the different pieces. It's just like any other business.
Right.
There's different pieces to the business. There's people who have expertise in sales. There's people who have expertise in marketing. There's people who have expertise in just the general um, keeping everything running together
Yes.
in the organization. So I find myself when I first started out, because it was basically just two of us, and
Mhm.
then it became three of us, and then it became four of us, and honestly, it's not moved beyond that.
Uh-huh.
We produce a magazine quarterly that a lot of people think, oh, you know, you have plenty of people
It's
working.
fantastic, the
No,
quality.
we're a small organization,
Mhm.
but we all have our portion. What I always say when it comes to publishing is everybody's in sales.
Yes, you're right.
Everybody's in sales,
You're
and
absolutely
everybody's in marketing,
Mhm.
and everybody's in PR, because as you step out on behalf of the magazine, you're doing PR for us.
Absolutely.
So it's from a publishing standpoint, everybody is in every part, and it's important that everybody contributes to the whole.
Right.
And once you're done with that contribution, this is the product that you get. And you should be proud of it because you were part of making it happen. But in terms of going back to the question of playing your role, everybody has a role that's their primary.
Mhm.
But like I said, when it comes to publishing and being
Mhm.
a business owner, I believe everybody,
Right.
you know, takes ownership of what it is that we're trying to do.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, could you kind of walk us through the whole process, so to speak, of okay, we have an idea here for a cover, or we
Mhm.
have a theme.
Mhm.
So how do you get the content together? How do you get your marketing messages together, you know, for the sale? How do you brand that, you know, how, and it just kind of like trickles?
Yeah, well, it's kind of been like second nature for us because we've been doing this, the magazine itself, for so long.
Sure.
Most of what I've been working on right now, it's kind of automatic now with the magazine, because
Mhm.
we have that following and we have that connection with the major organizations that support minority and women business owners. So they get the magazine and they distribute it and things like that. But we get the idea,
Mhm.
you know, we sit down, we brainstorm about what we want to include, what kinds of stories we want to include, and then from there we determine where we can get the right person to write the article or the right person to interview for the article. A lot of times I go back to our constituents, primarily corporate, because they're the biggest supporters,
Sure.
and they have the access, as well as the nonprofits. They have the access to the right people
Sure.
that can showcase what a minority business or a woman-owned business, you know, ought to be thinking about, ought to be doing. That's the conversation that we're having with those business owners, and we showcase their expertise. We also showcase the fact that we also let people know in our publication, in any way possible, that they're not alone.
Excellent.
You're not the only person
Right.
that's facing financial issues.
Yes.
You're not the only person that's facing figuring out how to get something from one place to the other.
Right.
So we reach out to our partners, which are corporations that
Mhm.
have active programs for minority and women business owners. I also reach out to organizations like WeBank and NMSDC and, you know, US PAC, where I was last week, and try to find people that can exemplify what it is that we want to showcase to our readers, so they understand what's going on,
Right.
you know, who's doing it and who's doing it well, and
Yes.
who's persevering, even if they stumble. We
And
we
that's
like to
okay.
show those things, and
Yes.
it's okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So with the whole process of everything, it sounds like you have like maybe two different customer bases. So one would be like your resource partners, so to speak, and the other would be like maybe the end reader like myself, or maybe even subscribers that are business owners too. So, and the way that you distribute the magazine, I think, is ingenious.
Mhm.
You know, with providing copies and at a place of business so that it's
Mhm.
easily accessible within the community.
Mhm.
Was that something that you kind of grew into organically, or was that something that was already established years ago?
Well, it was established years ago that this is the way we would do it. The magazine is really designed for minority and women business owners
Mm-hmm.
and those organizations and companies who are looking to reach them. So in doing so, we had to be where they would be.
Yes.
So we formed alliances with the organizations, both regionally, locally, and nationally, and we offer, extra copies of the magazines
Mhm.
that they can give to their clients when they come in if you're a nonprofit.
Uh-huh.
And we also have the magazines distributed at trade shows and conferences, some webinars. I mean, not webinars, but seminars
Oh, yes.
across the country.
Excellent.
And when you go to a show like WeBank when it comes here,
Mm-hmm.
or you might go to an association office like, say, a WRMSDC office, you'll see copies of the magazine there
Yes.
that you can pick up and read and say, and maybe get a little bit of something
Oh, absolutely.
that can help you
Mm-hmm.
along the way, even if it's for, even if you just saw it for a minute. We hope that the information that's in there is going to help you in some way. So yeah, so we try to make sure that it is distributed to those nonprofits. It's also in several libraries across the
Oh,
country as well.
fantastic.
So it, we try to expand on how we get it out
Mhm.
to that, to our audience. Yeah.
So, kind of like from a business infrastructure perspective, did you organically have like a business plan or a game plan going into this, or did you over the years create like a strategic plan to kind of follow?
When I got into it from enterprise publishing standpoint,
Uh-huh.
I knew there were certain things that needed to be done
Sure.
that we hadn't been doing, and so I just kind of started there
Okay.
to do some things with the magazine. We knew we needed to get into social media, so we really ramped that up, and that was our first step. We made it all the way to the 30th anniversary of the magazine, and that's when
That's
we
amazing.
had the new look. So we started a few things, and then now it's trying to get folks to recognize that MBE magazine is not the only thing that we do. We do
Oh, very good.
because we have the programmings.
Yes.
We have social media, we have videos
Mhm.
and podcasts that we also do. So a lot of those things, right now it's more of a strategic plan around not so much reinventing ourselves,
Mhm.
but getting folks to recognize us as more than just a magazine. So no, I didn't have a business plan. It
Mhm.
was more a strategic plan. We're taking it one year at a time to take those
Sure.
extra steps to drop those things in. We're supposed to be working on webinars this year,
Okay.
but I've kind of dialed back on it. I really wanted to do some more webinars. So I will get there. We might get a couple of them done this year, but I'm focusing on turning the wheel a little bit to get folks to recognize enterprise publishing as more than just MBE magazine.
Yeah, and in reference to you are expanding your brand to
Mhm.
encompass other things besides what you started off
Mhm.
as. I think that's a great thing.
Well, I took I was a graduate of the 10,000 Small Business Program.
Wow.
So
Fantastic.
I did the program in Boston at. Okay, that just went right out of my head.
That's okay. I know it's Goldman Sachs.
Yes, but I graduated from
fantastic.
that program, and it was funny while we were in there. We were talking about different ways of who you wanted to be when you grew up, so to speak.
Ah, yes.
And they say, okay, what kind of statement would you say about what you wanted to be? And I said, well, I want to be the Time Warner of publishing.
Fantastic.
Because they have magazines, they have book publishing, they have television, they have all of those things. So I'm like, I want to be all those things with my brand, Enterprise Publishing Inc. And that was 2 years ago, and that's kind of where this started now, talking about Enterprise Publishing and really putting something complete together to fit under that umbrella.
Excellent.
Yeah. So sometimes it's good to go to some of these business programs. It's I was very fortunate. I just did not know that they would choose me. I just took a chance. And that's something also, sometimes you just take a chance.
Absolutely.
You never know where it'll lead.
Yes, and you never know where it will lead. I mean, from your father recognizing that, you know what, my colleague or friend, she needs help here. Let me just take a chance and ask my daughter, is this something that you would consider doing? And then the whole evolution of, well, sure, as long as I don't have to write. And it just kind of just had this positive momentum into the here and now. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, and I've still got stuck with writing. Well, I don't write a lot. I get other people to write, and I do still do a lot of editing because I enjoy that. It's also one way to know what I'm writing, what's in the magazine. But I do still write my publisher's page every once in a while. But I also have guest editors that'll come and write something on our publisher's page. That'll be in this particular issue. It was also our oil and gas issue, and I got a call from someone who was Dylan Anno, who I knew her from when she was at Disney.
Wow.
And she said, I'd love to write something about the oil and gas industry.
Wonderful.
And I said, well, sure. So she sent us an article, and I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I'm going to put you on. You're saying what I would like to say. Therefore, why not let you say it where I would like to say it?
Wonderful!
Okay?
Yes.
So I placed her on that, and it was a letter to the oil industry, and I think it was well written, and that's why I placed it there. But
excellent.
It's, sometimes I get away with not having to write anything.
Speaking of like doing things and kind of. Coming into this age, so to speak, what was the process to incorporate the digital option of the magazine in addition to print?
It actually, the printer that we use, they have a division that digitized.
Oh, wow.
Digital. And it was really interestingly easy because all I have to do is the same thing I've always done. And they just transfer the pieces onto the digital media. So I didn't really have to add a whole lot.
Wonderful.
To it. I just had to do the same thing. And that's worked out really well. And you can subscribe to the magazine on that platform,
right?
Or you can subscribe via our website. Pretty much, you can get to anything via our website. But if you wanted to go and see what past issues look like, you're able to see the first 10 pages of any issue on that mobile site.
Oh, fantastic!
So it's mobile.mbemag.com, and if you go there, you can see any of our past issues. I think up to maybe about 6 years ago.
Oh, wow, that's
Of past
impressive.
issues, and you can search through it and everything. And we utilize that section to just kind of push things out on our social media as well, because they incorporate the social media option in there too. So
I noticed that it's very well. First of all, you're feeling a need in the community by highlighting, women minority business owners and also
Mhm.
minority business owners too through the magazine and various platforms and programs. How does is it a strategic partnership? Your involvement with WeBank and the other supplier diversity associations or entities?
For some, yes, it is
Mhm.
kind of a strategic partner. We're media partners.
Yes.
To many of them, to the U.S. PAC,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the National Center,
Wow.
as well as U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Fantastic. Yes.
But we are minority-owned and woman-owned publication.
Yeah.
Company.
Right.
And so we are a certified
Right.
minority-owned through NMSDC's
Mhm.
WRMSDC
Mhm.
council, and we are woman-owned via WeBank's WeBank West
Yes.
partner.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we are close to those two. The others, they're more strategic media partners
I understand.
for their events, and we support them. They support us by distributing our magazine to their members and to their constituents.
Yes, we. As a matter of fact, we had Rose Davis
Mhm.
and also Anna Seaford.
Yes.
From those organizations
Yes.
that focus on certification.
Mhm.
And Rose was our guest speaker, one of our guest speakers for our Women's History events in
Mhm.
March.
Yes.
And Anna was on the panel, and you
Mhm.
were there as
Yes.
well. It was
Mhm.
such a treat. So it was just wonderful.
I
to,
love those two.
Yes, yes. It was such a treat to see, as a former entrepreneur myself, these resources in the same room, in the same forum, and explaining to people in the audience how certification really does give you an opportunity, at least,
Mhm.
to prepare for a greater opportunity or another opportunity with the certification, and also the connections too, in giving you an opportunity to create relationships,
Yes.
with people that are just wonderful.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
That's that is. I would say that especially with the WeBank organization, that's one of the ways that we've been able to do well
yes,
with WeBank and NMSDC,
Mhm.
is because they afford us the access to the corporations and to other organizations that are nonprofit that support supplier diversity
yes,
and so forth, and that's how we've come to know about who our potential clients are.
right,
Most of the advertisers in our magazine, which is of course is the biggest part of the support for our company, comes from the advertising that's in the magazine right now.
sure,
And most of our supporters, most of those that are our clients, are corporate members of these organizations. As long as they have an active and program, you'll see usually their potential clients or clients of ours already. And we have some really good supporters. Even when things were tough, they stuck
Wow.
around.
That's fantastic. And that really speaks to the time and the effort and the way that you cultivated your relationships over the years, not just from a business side, but after a while, give or take a few things, you do
Mhm.
become friends with some people as well.
Oh,
And,
absolutely.
and it becomes more than just a business professional relationship.
One of the things that I enjoy about doing what I do
Mm-hmm.
is the opportunity to meet and get to know so many different people.
Yes, yes.
I'm originally from
Mhm.
Jamaica, so
Uh-huh.
I'm what you might call a world traveler. I like to get out and meet new people.
Yes.
I don't like to stay put. I stay put every once in a while, and every once in a while I need to, because sometimes too much travel can make you not want to go anywhere. But I enjoy meeting these different people and having different perspectives. And when I get to these conferences and trade shows, and I get to meet and talk to people, it also gives us great ideas
Yes.
on what we should be writing about in the magazine.
Yes.
So to answer part of your other question
Uh-huh.
about where we get our ideas,
Mhm.
we listen to people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
I
we're
like
listening
that.
to them speaking, and
Mm-hmm.
they're talking about things, and they're we hear their frustrations,
Yes.
and we try to find a way to address it. It might not be an answer. It might just be a reiteration of the frustration, but somebody out there will get that this is a problem and maybe jump on it and say, I have a solution for it. So we don't try to turn anyone's mind one way or the other. We're not an investigative,
Sure.
organization, media organization. So what we're trying to do is give you the tools to do what you need to do.
Excellent.
And we'll speak to the issues if we have to, but you still have to decide what you're going to do about it.
Absolutely, and well said. And to kind of explore a little bit in reference to tools, if someone wanted to enter into the publishing industry, then what tools do they need?
Research would be research. There's lots of information online now.
Yes.
There's still lots of information in libraries.
Yes. My
Reference
favorite.
libraries. Yes.
Yes.
I'm a favorite. I'm a big proponent of going to the library when I want to read a
So
book.
am I. Yes. It's another world.
Yeah, yeah. But research is key. If you are a student, say going to college or in high school, and that's what you're wanting to go into publishing for one reason or another, I think it helps if you're a student to go to a organization like mine
Absolutely.
and intern or
Yes.
volunteer
Yes.
and ask questions of the people who are in that area. And it's not hard to figure it out once you're a student. Now, if you're much older and you're trying to figure it out, sometimes I recommend looking out to places like SCORE if there's
Sure.
anybody who's done it
Yes, I agree.
already before.
Right.
Look for some mentors.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
key too.
Yeah, look for some mentors, and it may not be hard to find. You'd be surprised how many people are looking for somebody to bring along.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I noticed too.
Yeah.
Yes. And, with our work here at the Nevada Women's Business Center, like you, it's wonderful to meet so many different people, at different stages of development as an entrepreneur. To me, it's like seeing a child grow,
Mm-hmm.
from a business idea to them actually
Mhm.
opening their doors, whether it's a brick and mortar or online or, something.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really rewarding to see that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like work, actually. It just feels like I'm being of service, to help
Right.
someone else grow and develop.
And that's kind of how we feel about what it is that we're doing. It's not a huge money maker. We're not making, gobs of money hand over fist or anything. But it's still satisfying
Yes.
when we see the product come out, when somebody comes up to say, oh, I read this issue, it was great. I read an article in this issue that really helped me. You know, I read about somebody that I really want to get to know.
Yes.
You know, even if they just read one article and like it, that's fine.
Right. It's okay.
You know? I mean, we've done the right thing. We've done something that's impacted someone, and that's what's important.
You know, now, in addition to the tools that you described, a lot of that is centered around the writing style, because it seems that writing, to a degree, the words have their own divinity, so to speak, and they have their own emotion or thought process or influence in some kind of way. And to put all that together and, you know, a quality, you know, publication, whether it's hard copy or digital, and have someone come up to you and say, I read that article, or I really like, you know, this or that and the other, that's like an essential tool within itself. And I just find that fascinating.
You know, there's a reason why I don't like writing. Writing is taking something from inside and putting it out there.
Yes.
And I have a difficult time crafting a message that isn't going to go all over the place.
Okay.
So it's nice to have an editor,
Yes.
and my editor Tanya, to take a look at what it is I'm writing and say, okay, dial back on that. This is probably better. I've learned over the years how to do better. But there are times like recently, there was a lot of emotion around the election.
Oh, sure.
And I had a lot of emotional, you know, tied up into that, and I couldn't seem to form something cohesive. And so I would reach out to someone, and in this case, I actually reached out to Dr. Fred McKinney.
Oh, wow.
At the Tuck School of Business, and I'm a graduate of that minority business program.
Excellent.
So I reached out to him and I said, you know, I want to talk about this, but I've got too much emotion in me, and you're really good at this. Can you help me? And so he and I came together and we wrote my publisher's page for the winter issue.
Wow.
I gave him the credit because he really did. He just basically took the idea I had and really formed it, and his thought processes really gelled with mine. So I give him all the credit for doing that. But it makes it difficult sometimes for me to speak in writing, because it's hard to bring it all together when you've got so much emotion behind.
Yes, I understand.
So that's I have that problem. You'll see me write sometimes, and I can really sometimes focus, but there are other times I can't focus, and that's the last piece that's got written in the magazine, is the publisher's page, and because I have to really, by the time we get to that point, there's usually something I need to write about.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, and it, you know, sometimes there isn't something that comes up that comes to mind, and so I will go. I'll go more to the motivating discussion.
Sure.
In my publisher's page, but you know, there's always something.
You know, you bring up a really good point in knowing where you are, so to speak, and that in your skill set, knowing what are some things that you're good at, some things that you're better at, some things that you're best at, and then some things that you really just need help with, because it's just not your strong suit.
Right.
And I think that's another tool as an entrepreneur, in knowing that you don't know everything, and there's always something else to know or to learn,
right,
and allow yourself to grow that way.
And that's the premise behind, say, even our blog that we do. our blog is called Our Toolbox.
Oh, okay.
And that's where we will do things like how-tos.
Oh, very good.
You might not see a lot of how-tos in the magazine because it's there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's where we talk about the nitty-gritty of doing business, the marketing,
Interesting.
the sales, the those kinds of things, the
Mhm.
branding. A lot of that is in our toolbox blog.
That's neat.
So, and then the magazine, is where we really bring more of the heavier discussions. We get the corporations to talk about their programs. We get the minority business to talk about, somebody who's doing something different, which we call a different drummer. Those are different, MBEs or WBEs that are doing just something a little different that you don't usually expect an MBE or WBE to be doing.
Sure.
And, and then the other articles that speak about the industry and what's happening there. Sometimes we just really speak to the leaders in the industry in terms of the corporation. Or even we'll have writers that are MBEs as well, or WBEs, who speak to things that are really useful for other MBEs and WBEs to hold on to. So we
That's wonderful.
we touch on a lot of different things over
Yes,
the
you
year,
do.
in 4 issues.
Mhm.
We can't always do it all,
Yes.
but so we may move it on to the next year. It never really goes out of style.
Yeah, I noticed, and with you incorporating the diversity,
Mm-hmm.
within a diverse publication, I think it's wonderful when you draw from an MBE to write about something, or a corporation to write about something, or
Mhm.
a staff member, to write about something.
Mm-hmm.
And you have all of these ideas and different perspectives. Naturally, it will just grow and expand and catch momentum, because it's
Yeah.
not the same old, same old.
Yeah.
I think that's
Definitely.
wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
So, do you have any pearls of wisdom, or golden nuggets to share, towards the close of the webinar for our viewers? Because this has been so delightful.
I would say that be curious.
I like
Ask anybody.
that. Mm-hmm.
These last couple of years has not been, the most comfortable for me personally as a business owner.
Sure.
But I learned to ask, and I got help.
Yes.
And I didn't know
Yes.
that I knew anybody who could give me help.
Mm-hmm.
But I got help, and I got people who knew who we were, that said, I want to help you.
Oh, wow.
So what is it that you need? So always ask for help. You never know where your help will come from.
Absolutely.
And that help is not just to your community, not just to the people that you know.
Right.
You can ask for help even from your community.
Yes.
Because a lot of my community is at my church. So,
Mm-hmm.
I go to the choir. I'm in a choir, so we practice every week. And when I love to go, because we sit, they say, well, what's good going on in your life, and what do you need prayer for?
Oh, wonderful.
And that is very that's very helpful.
Yes,
To
it
be able to
is.
talk things through with, even with somebody who has absolutely no idea what your business
I
is about.
agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I found that's my one thing that I learned this year
Mm-hmm.
is to ask.
Mhm.
These last couple of years is to ask. You never know. There might be an answer for whatever it is that you need.
Yes.
And I do a lot of praying.
Yeah. Amen.
I'm on my knees. I'm on my knees every day because I'm responsible for the welfare of my employees.
I understand.
And I'm constantly wanting, the first thing I gotta do is make sure they're taken care of. And as a business owner, that's hard to carry.
That is.
That is hard to
It
carry.
really is.
But we are all carrying it.
Yeah,
So there's, there again, you're not alone.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
So I think that's probably my two.
I think this has been a fantastic conversation, and thank you so much for your
Well,
time.
thank you for having me.
Yes.
I really appreciate it.
Yes, this has been fun, and we'll definitely continue. As a matter of fact, please tune in to our Business Basics VEDC radio show this coming Thursday, because Miss Barbara Oliver, she's going to be our guest, and our very own Leanna Jenkins, she's going to
Yes.
host the show. So we're so excited. So if you would like to tune in, please tune in on Thursday at 5:02 p.m. On AM 1060, AM 1060 on KKVV radio station. And the radio station is also live streamed, so you can catch the live stream of the broadcast on kkvv.com. So thank you so much. Once again, this has been an
Thank
amazing
you.
conversation.
This has
Thank
been
you so
fun.
much. Yes.
I appreciate it.
If anyone would like to contact you for more information, how could they do so?
You can email me directly. I don't mind emails. boliver@mbemag.com, or you can call 702, I'm sorry, that's not the number, 310-294-3780, and my extension is 5, but if you're interested in other areas of the business, you can select other extensions.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, Miss Oliver. I'm so happy that you made the time out of your busy schedule to come.
I enjoyed this. Thank you so
Oh,
much. Got me
good.
out of the house.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. I'm Kathleen Taylor with the Nevada Women's Business Center, and thanks so much for tuning into this live stream, a webinar talking about the publishing industry. Until next time, take care. Yay!